Bears.
Bear.
Look at the bears! Look at the bears! Look at the bears!
Sometimes the bar will eat you.
So let me tell you a little story that's going back a few years. See, like a lot of people who live in Pennsylvania, I grew up pretty close to the woods. Yeah, and one of the problems that you have when you grow up near the woods is sometimes bears come into town. Yeah. Well, there were actually two particular occasions where a bear came into my town. The first time it happened, a bear got into my grandmother's backyard, and she called the police. Yeah, she called the police for a bear. A police officer came up, pulled up next to the backyard, walked up towards the bear, stood about maybe 50 feet away from him, and suddenly realized that he had absolutely no plan. And that is a fun thing to watch, the wheels turning when he realizes that he has absolutely no fucking idea what to do about a bear. So what he does, after thinking about it a while, is he takes out his flashlight and starts waving it at the bear, figuring that a small light moving back and forth would scare him and make him run away. It did not. The bear actually gave him one of these looks. And that was it. It was like, what the fuck? The bear's probably thinking, you know that's not a lightsaber, right? So he tries it from a different angle, and it has zero effect. And he does this for about 10 minutes. And then a second cop car pulled up. And that surprised the hell out of me because I was not aware that our town had a second cop. So the second cop walks up, looks at the first cop, sees what he's doing, does the same thing. And I'm pretty sure that if you look closely, you could have seen them spelling out, "I am a fucking moron" in Morse code. Then they lose the bear. A 500-pound animal in a yard, and they lost it. So I'm driving home later, and I see the cops, and they look like Night of the Living Dead. They're just wandering around. Then the bear actually ran right past them, and they actually did a Keystone Cops double take. It was like... and they start running after it, and then promptly lose it again. Next morning, they're actually going around knocking on people's doors going, did you see a bear? We're looking for a bear. Anybody seen a bear? What the fuck are you going to do if you... Even if we say, yeah, he's over there, what are you going to do? You still have no plan. Now, about 5 years later, another bear came into town. This one went to my next door neighbor's yard. What is all that rattling noise back there? Is there a bear back there? There's bears in the other room. Bears in the kitchen. Making popcorn. So, this is 5 years later, and there's a bear in my next door neighbor's yard. Now, keep in mind, the police have had 5 years to think of a plan. So my neighbor calls the police. Police show up. We got this. They shoot the bear with a rubber bullet. They shoot a rubber bullet at the bear, figuring when the bullet hits him, he'll go, ow, and he'll run back into the woods. Didn't work. They shoot this rubber bullet at the bear. The bear looks at him, turns around, and goes up a tree in my neighbor's yard. So now the cops are out of ideas. They only had 5 years to think of a plan, and that was it. So then they use their brains and decide, aha, the bear is in a tree. We are going to call the fire department. They get cats out of trees, why not? So the fire department shows up, and I say to one of the firefighters, I say, you know the bear's not on fire, right? Like, we do things besides get buried. We do things besides put out fires. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. So the fire department, they come up with their idea. They come up with their idea to deal with the bear. They decide they're going to spray water at it. You know, they say when the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. The only tool you have is a fire hose, every problem looks like a fire. So it takes them all day, literally all day, start early that morning, went into the evening, setting up their plan. Let me describe the intricacies of their plan. The bear came from the woods over here. Now you would think the smart thing to do would be to chase the bear back into the woods that he probably came from. No, that's too simple. The fire department is going to spray water at the bear here, causing him to run across town, 2 blocks over, 3 blocks down, where a second fire truck is waiting for him. I wish I was making this up, but I am not. Where a second fire truck is waiting for him to spray him with water again, causing him to run 2 blocks over, another block down, run across the main highway, where a police officer is standing ready to jump out in traffic and tell all the cars to stop in a moment's notice. And I really want to see that. Because apparently they don't think cars are going to stop for a bear, but they'll stop for a cop jumping out in front of your car. I wouldn't. And the bear is supposedly going to run across the main highway, past the factories, and into the woods on the opposite side of town. This is a brilliant fucking plan, and I am waiting to see it work. Nah, that's not true. I'm waiting to see it fail miserably. There are now about 200 people gathered around just staring at this thing, and they're all doing this. I don't think it's going to work. You think it's going to work? Nah, I don't think it's going to work either. Hey, we don't think it's going to work. Everyone's like, shut up, it's going to work. So they turn the hose on the bear. Now you have a wet bear in a tree. Just a wet bear sitting in a tree. Whole day of setup, and fire department's like, got any other ideas? That's all we got. And somebody, I don't know who, but somebody called animal control. And I'm like, shit, we have an animal control? And we didn't call them first. So we wait for the animal control car to show up. Now, you have an expectation when somebody says animal control. You think, oh, it's going to be a big van, a big truck with a bunch of guys wearing armored suits with tranquilizer guns and, you know, and those sticks with a loop on the end of it, or maybe those big comic cartoon butterfly nets like the dog catchers have in the old cartoons. Remember those? Yeah. Something like that. This is what shows up. One guy in a small compact car with no equipment, but I know he's the animal control guy because he's wearing a t-shirt that says animal control. And that's all he's got. So I guess that's why we had to wait so long. You had to find the t-shirt. Now I'm thinking, okay, maybe he doesn't need equipment. Maybe he's like a bear whisperer. You know, maybe he's like the Beastmaster or Dr. Doolittle, and he's going to talk to the bear and convince it to leave. Now, here's what the animal control expert does. He gets out of his car, looks around, looks at all the people staring at him, waiting for him to do something, and he says, okay, everybody go home. The bear's going to leave eventually on his own. And then he leaves. Fuck, I am so glad that we called the expert.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
That is an expert. He is Dr. Doolittle. He is Dr. Do Very Little. But he was right, eventually the bear did leave on his own. Now I don't have an ending for that story, so I'm just going to stop right there. Blessed be.
We are the Bears, shuffling through, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad.